Hey everyone, most people overpay for gaming PCs like this. Here's why this Skytech Nebula model is different. If you're looking for a solid mid to high-end rig without breaking the bank, this one might just be what you need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been running this Skytech Nebula for about a month now, mostly for gaming and some light content creation, and I've got to say, it's been a smooth ride. The specs alone make it stand out. Ryzen 7 5700 with a turbo boost up to 4.6 GHz, paired with an RTX 5060 that's packing 16 GB of GDDR7. That's a lot of power for the price, especially when you consider most pre-builts in this range skimp on the GPU or RAM. I've seen people pay way more for systems that don't even come close to this setup. One of the first things I noticed was how quiet this thing runs. Skytech included a high-performance air cooler, and even under heavy loads like running Cyberpunk 2077 at max settings, it stays surprisingly quiet. I'm not hearing any fan noise that's distracting, which is a big deal if you're gaming late at night or sharing a space with others. The 650W Gold PSU is another solid touch. It's efficient and reliable, so you're not constantly worrying about power spikes or failures. Storage is where this PC really shines. A 1TB Gen4 NVMe SSD means boot times are instant, and game load screens are basically non-existent. I've got a ton of games installed, and everything loads in a flash. The 32 GB of DDR4 RAM at 3200 MHz is more than enough for multitasking, streaming while gaming, running Discord, a few Chrome tabs, and still having headroom for more. I've even run some light video editing in Premiere Pro without any slowdowns, which is a nice bonus if you're into creative work. The RTX 5060 16 GB is where this PC flexes its muscles. I've been playing titles like Elden Ring, Starfield, and Alan Wake 2 at 1440p with everything maxed out and still hitting over 60 FPS. Even demanding games like Cyberpunk with ray tracing are running smoothly. The 16 GB VRAM is a future-proofing move too. Newer games are starting to push those limits, so having that extra headroom means you won't be upgrading anytime soon. Connectivity is solid with Wi-Fi 5, 802.11 AC, built in, so you're not stuck dealing with Ethernet cables everywhere. The HDMI output is handy if you're plugging into a monitor or TV, and the lack of bloatware is a relief. I hate dealing with pre-installed junk software, so it's nice to boot into a clean Windows 11 setup right away. Now, let's talk about the downsides. The brand of the GPU might vary, which could be a concern if you're particular about that. I got an Asus card in mine, but it's not guaranteed every unit will be the same. Also, while the air cooler does a great job, if you're planning on serious overclocking, you might want to swap it out for something more robust. It's not a deal-breaker for most people, but it's worth noting. Overall, this Skytech Nebula is a fantastic value. It's powerful enough for high-end gaming, quiet under load, and comes with enough storage and RAM to keep you set for years. If you're in the market for a pre-built that won't let you down, this one's definitely worth a look. You'll find the link below if you want to check it out further. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Skytech Gaming Nebula desktop PC, Ryzen 7 5700 3.7 GHz, 4.6 GHz turbo, NVIDIA RTX 5060 16 GB, 1TB Gen4 NVMe SSD, 32 GB DDR4 RAM 3200, 650W Gold PSU, Wi-Fi, Win 11 sounds impressive on paper. But whether strengths like AMD Ryzen 7 5700 3.7 GHz, 4.6 GHz turbo boost, CPU processor, 1TB and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 Ti 16 GB GDDR7 graphics card, brand may actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off. It is also smart to think about long-term satisfaction. A product like Skytech Gaming Nebula desktop PC, Ryzen 7 5700 3.7 GHz, 4.6 GHz turbo, NVIDIA RTX 5060T 16GB, 1TB Gen4 NVMe SSD, 32GB DDR4 RAM 3200, 650W Gold PSU, Wi-Fi. Win 11 usually feels like the better buy when it stays convenient, comfortable, and reliable in normal everyday use instead of only looking good in the listing.